Hey friends, Justin here with glare all over my glasses. Here to review the 1991 film Hook, starring Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Maggie Smith, and so many others. I mean, boy, I tell you, a beautifully conceived and a beautifully crafted film. I've struggled lately over the last few weeks to connect with a lot of the fantasy that's made for um, my generation today. I was trying. I was on my last video. I was telling you guys how I struggled to get into the Wink saga. Everyone was talking about it. It was the new thing, number one trending on Netflix. But I really found that it had no soul to it. There's there's a depth, there's a weight to the cinematography in Harry Potter when it opens and it's smoky and you feel the dedication and the love of craft that went into it. Some of these new, the magicians and a lot of these shows, you can tell that they're put together, kind of in a corporate way. So anyway, enough of my rant. I put this on one night because I said, well, maybe I'm just getting old and I'm not connecting with fantasy anymore, the way that I used to. And boy, this movie just took me away, from the camera movement to how cozy that British house was, to Julia Roberts. Every aspect of this movie is there's so much care taken. Every shot and every frame is just beautifully done. I can remember the opening part, when I was 5 or 6 years old. I can remember the opening of the movie. I wanted them to hurry up and get to Neverland. I didn't want to hear the grown-ups talk. I didn't understand what they were saying. Now as an adult, the conversation is so relevant. Perhaps even more so today in 2020 than it was in 1991. It's such a statement about, a loss of innocence. It's such a statement about the times, separation from kids, and how we all need to invest in ourselves. We are our, biggest prize and our biggest commodity. And we don't invest in our own imaginations and in our own well-being. And that's what the story of Peter Pan is about, really. But I really love the way that, the allegory was told in a modern way. Maggie Smith, it's incredible how she's looked the same age or been able to play a character, that looks about the same age for the last 30 years. It's really exceptional. Robin Williams is an odd choice, on the surface for Peter Pan. I've always thought that throughout the years that, how did he get cast in that role? But as an adult, it's such a transcendent choice. He's the adult out of all of us that never lost that spirit of fun, that spirit of imagination, and kind of carried that mantle for many years. If there was a way to maintain that innocence, if there was a way to maintain that childish sense of the love of life, Robin Williams was really a beacon of that. So, really tragic to see what happened, but he really is a perfect choice for it, to have Julia Roberts. These people weren't legends at the time. They were really famous people: Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Dustin Hoffman, etc. Maggie Smith. Maggie Smith was a legend, but it's just the care that the filmmakers took to make sure that the every part was casted right. What they went through to make sure that when everything came together, that it flowed and that it was such a beautifully told story. That's what's missing from TV and filmmaking today. Anyway, you can just let your eyes go along on this beautiful journey, as Tinkerbell comes in and wakes up Robin Williams and takes him, out of the window. As they're flying off in the night and that couple gets hit with the pixie dust, the fairy dust, and they start flying as they're kissing. I mean, it's such a sweet and tender scene. You can't help but smile. There's so many moments in the film that are really sweet and tender and told for all audiences. Back in the early 90s, movies were made for everyone. We all went to go see A League of Their Own and, Fried Green Tomato. Like, movies were not Home Alone 2. That's just a classic film, and the filmmakers treated it as such. And unfortunately, the films of today are made for people without context. They see some of these concepts for the first time, but they don't have any idea of the fullness that really they could be experiencing. Anyway, keep, going in and out of my rant. Dustin Hoffman is Hook. Chilling, even to this day. As he's walking around and making his gestures and I mean, I had anxiety. I'm 35 years old. What an effective villain. He's one of the best villains, absolutely, of all time. Smee is incredible as well, the actor that played Smee. But Hook that is really a career-defining role. And it really was for me. I never forgot Hook as a child. The Lost Boys, there was, they weren't perfect actors by any means. They were kids. But there was an innocence and there was a care and there was an attention, with these performances. Rufio. It's been 30 years. I never forgot that character, and I think a lot of people connected with Rufio for some reason, just that rebellious lost kid that kind of stepped in and took Pan's place as he left, kind of a complicated character now that I'm an older person, but unforgettable characters. The cinematography was just beautiful. I mean, this movie is 30 years old. I think, this year makes 30 years. And, the vistas and the shots in Neverland are just gorgeous. And the acting, even the child actors between Robin Williams and his kids, the relationship is just so believable that you're on this ride with them. You're rooting for him to be the man, every time he puts his hands on his hips and, et cetera, et cetera. You're invested in this. And that's what I wish would return to filmmaking, There's another discussion to be had about, what's causing this? Is it the affirmative action? Is it the push towards, certain things that's causing such a blandness in filmmaking nowadays? There's another conversation to be had, but this film was just rich on every level, from the dialogue to the acting to the visuals. It's one of my favorites. What's your favorite scene in Hook, guys? Share your favorite scenes, your favorite actors, any standout situations below with me. I really love this one. And I'll catch you guys on the next review. I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me today. See you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.